Hey folks, obvious spoiler warning if you're clicking on this video. I'm going to say things about Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, and forever, so you're warned. When Kingdom Hearts released in 2002, I was a mere 11 years old. The extent of my gaming at this point was Sonic the Hedgehog and Pac-Man on my Sega Genesis. We had just got a PS2 for Christmas alongside my very first copy of Kingdom Hearts. Now, to try to explain my feelings almost 25 years ago may be an undertaking, but I was excited. I had watched trailers of this game on Disney Channel, and I remember losing my mind over this odd Disney game. I played the game and beat the game, then forgot about it. I went through middle school, high school, and college not knowing there was more to the Kingdom Hearts story. Chain of Memories? 358 over 2 days? How do you say that title? Kingdom Hearts 2? Birth by Sleep? 0.2 back cover? What? There were mobile games too, and Kingdom Hearts is in the works? Where have I been? There are many in the community that have been with these games since day one. I am not one of those people. Like I said, I played KH1 one time when I was 11 and didn't pick it back up again until I was 29.
Hey, you old coot!
So I think not exactly growing up with these games gives me a different perspective than many in the community. At the end of 2019, I beat Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time and was flabbergasted. When I started playing again, I had no idea how this series would save my life and help me come to terms with some significant trauma. To better understand the ways I relate to this series and how it helped me in my darkest times, you need a basic understanding of the chunk of my life that in itself warped my worldview. So here's a very short summary of the craziest 7 years of my life. A lot happened in what seemed like a very short time, and I guess I should put this disclaimer or trigger warning here before we continue. I'm going to talk about death, depression, and grief. So if this is something that you're not comfortable with hearing about, now is the time to change videos. If not, then thanks for listening to me trauma dump about Kingdom Hearts. So, in 2017, my mom died after a decade-long battle with lung disease, and then I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2018. In November 2019, my dad died unexpectedly, and in 2020, I graduated with my master's degree and started teaching high school, because why not put more money into my education? What am I going to do with an English degree anyway? Write about Kingdom Hearts? In 2021, I got married and had twins. Parenthood changed a lot about how I viewed the world, and it also took away all of my free time. Which brings me to now, the end of 2025, which is when I'm recording this. I don't know if it's when I'm going to post it, but we'll see. But anyway, I got back into gaming, and specifically Kingdom Hearts again, really big about a year ago. Since then, I've been trying to do speed runs, doing the pro codes in Kingdom Hearts 3, have platinumed the mainline games, and honestly, a lot has changed, both for me and for this series over time. So, to break it down, I'm going to be discussing how characters respond to loss, how to create yourself after a loss, and then moving forward after finding your purpose. So let's begin by exploring the concept of death in Kingdom Hearts and analyzing Sora's response to loss. Being a game heavily influenced by Disney, the closest thing we get to actual death in Kingdom Hearts might actually come from the first game. Yes, you guessed it, Sora's mom. I mean, how many times has he been back to the Destiny Island since the initial apocalypse in Kingdom Hearts 1? They're the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Not once did he ask about her or visit her. All jokes aside, we really don't have much to go on as far as what death truly is, with the exception of this interaction between Chirithy and Sora the second time Sora visits the final world.
Can't stay away now, can you?
Huh? Hello?
The name's Chirithy, and this is the final world.
I'm Sora. What's the final world?
There's nothing else beyond this. You've wandered here more than once before on your visits to the Station of Awakening, but I let that slide. The edges of sleep and death touch, and one can't help the occasional crossover.
Wait, death?
Yes, the natural end for those whose hearts and bodies perish together. But some persist and arrive here.
My heart and body perished? Does that mean...
Something is holding you here, refusing to let you go. You're hanging by a thread.
What about my friends?
I'm afraid that no one else arrived with you. And if they're not here, they're either gone forever, or they're clinging to the world you came from.
I'm going back!
Whoa! How exactly? You can't just wander out like your other visits.
What?
I told you. The other times you came here by your own choice. This time is very different. To become your old self again and return to the real world, you'll have to piece yourself back together in this world first.
Ah! Why am I in pieces?
What? No, not literally, of course. You're conceptually in pieces. On the inside, who knows? But on the outside, you're just fine.
Oh, okay. You kind of freaked me out there.
Oh boy. Usually, only a heart can reach the final world. But since you've clearly managed to retain some kind of form, that can only mean your body was cast into this world as well.
Okay, so then if I can find my body, that means I'll be able to go back?
Precisely. But there's a lot of you to find. You're going to be busy.
So there are a couple of important points I want to highlight here. As Chirithy said, the edges of sleep and death touch, and death is the natural end when a body and heart perish. But Chirithy does not mention souls here. Xemnas does, however, when going to strike Axel down in the Keyblade graveyard. We do not need his soul, only his heart and body to be separated. So I think, at least as far as our characters can understand, death is when your heart and body perish, and your heart and soul comes to the final world if you have strong connections to what Chirithy referred to as the real world. Some only come as hearts, but can retain their form like Sora, or become a star like nimh.nih because their hearts and souls did not arrive. I may be wrong with this take, so let me know in the comments if you think death might be something different. Anyway, when Chirithy tells Sora his friends did not arrive here like he did, and that they had either perished or are clinging to the real world, Sora immediately wants to save them. He wants to keep them alive at all costs, but he doesn't even consider how he could do it. Chirithy has to slow him down and explain it to our boy. But Sora's reaction here is pretty well aligned with his character and displays our innate desire to hold on to the ones we love, even if that means breaking the laws of nature. Of course, in our reality, I don't know of a way to bring back the dead. But seeing Sora unable to come to terms with the fact that his friends might be dead resonated with me in the sense that there have been many times I couldn't believe my parents were gone too. The immediate reaction was, what can I do to fix this? How can I make this awful time better for me and my sibling? What can I do differently next time? Sora gets multiple opportunities to change his fate to his friends, while costing him his existence in the real world in the end. This can also happen to us, though not as literally as it did with Sora. If we are always considering the what-ifs when losing someone, it will consume us. It's like the darkness. When you let those thoughts creep in, they begin to fester and grow. In turn, you become someone living with deep guilt over things you are unable to change. You lose yourself. You disappear. You wish you could reverse time or change the outcome, but in reality, you can't do that. Sora's reaction to his friend's death in the final world is a more muted reaction than when we witness them fall. In the Keyblade graveyard, we see Sora happy that Donald took out Terranort. He's smiling, feeling like they won, when he notices his friends laying hurt on the ground. He's speechless for a moment and says,
This can't be real.
Unfortunately, Sora, it is. Death must come for us all. It is a natural thing to happen to everyone. We can't avoid it. Riku has to snap him out of this disbelief and what is to come. Sora can sense the end is near, and despite knowing that everyone's fate likely is, he still refuses to accept it at this point. He confronts this massive swarm of Heartless because he doesn't know any way to get out of this situation besides fighting. Kairi slips away from Sora, and we see his visceral reaction to his friend's death.
Sora! They're gone. Kairi, Donald, Goofy, the king. Gone forever. What do we do? Without them, all my strength came from them. They gave me all of it. Alone? I'm worthless. We've lost. It's over.
Here comes our big boy Riku to give Sora the idea that it is not over yet. Sora can reset his game and try a different strategy and keep returning to the save point to try again until he gets it right, almost as if he were a video game character. Quickly, let's review the stages of grief. Those stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. One can float in between these stages, meaning it's not necessarily a straight path from denial to acceptance. Also, these stages manifest in different ways for different people. Dealing with grief and coming to accept that loss is a messy road, so if you're finding it increasingly difficult to function with your grief, please reach out to a friend or a loved one. So first, the disbelief. The first stage of grief is denial. The look on his face, coupled with his statement, "This can't be real," he is in denial of what is happening around him. Next, Sora displays great anger at losing everyone, which is the second stage of grief. Anger can present differently in everyone, and this was Sora's reaction. I felt like I became more and more bitter as each of my parents passed away, which was my expression of anger. Everything made me mad. The road rage was real bad. Anyway, continuing with the stages of grief, Sora effectively bargains to get his friends back in the final world when he revisits in his attempt to save everyone a second time. He bargains his own life at this point, which would be seen as destructive behavior many people lean towards when they're depressed. Sora no longer values his own life and is willing to sacrifice his own well-being for the sake of his friends. Finally is acceptance. I'm not sure if I can call Sora fading from existence as him accepting that his friends have died, but it's really the closest thing I can get to. He has at least accepted what cannot be changed at this point and has accepted the consequences for his actions. Another character faces the idea of death, though in hindsight we know this person did not die according to the Kingdom Hearts reality. Little boy Roxas strikes down one of his best friends, Xion, as part of her plan to reconnect with Sora. Now, I know Roxas's reaction has been memed and been made fun of for years, but I wanted to highlight an important connection. Roxas's immediate reaction to Xion's death is to say,
"No. Shion. Who else will I have ice cream with?"
People have said this is selfish and childish of Roxas. His friend is dying before his eyes and all he cares about is ice cream. But listen, slow your roll. It's not about the ice cream. Roxas, Shion, and Axel were the best of friends, and after work they would indulge in sea salt ice cream on the Twilight Town clock tower. This has been a habit for Roxas, who recently only even came into existence and learned that he can have feelings and friends. His routine, his normalcy, is now gone. That's what the ice cream represents. The friendship, the routines, the habit we have with our loved ones, the tradition, gone now that they have died. So yeah, it may seem like selfish or childish reaction to some, but as someone who's experienced world-shattering deaths in their life, I understand the emotion and force behind this line. Especially with a sudden death, like with my dad's or with Shion's here, the immediate upheaval of all you know and knew rocks you to your core. Words are hard to describe what you're feeling, and Roxas shows that here. Roxas deals with so many complex emotions in his short time. I think a lot of us forget that he's only been existing, or non-existing, for about a year by the start of Kingdom Hearts 2. In that year, Roxas awakens with no memories or identity and is given an identity by Xemnas. He participates in tasks set forth by his boss to further the organization's goal of creating Kingdom Hearts, makes friends with Axel and Shion, begins to learn what friendship, love, and happiness feel like, questions his purpose as he doesn't resonate with the organization's desire for Kingdom Hearts, fights with his friends and ends up killing and losing his memories of one of his best friends by the end of days. Then, he's thrown into a digital world with digital people to be friends with, all to be told he was never meant to exist and that he will have to almost disappear to recomplete Sora. All for Sora to have no idea who he is, and Axel to, in Roxas's eyes, choose to save Sora instead of him. Roxas lashes out in an attempt to regain his identity, whatever that may be. He sees for now accepting this is how things have to be, for now. He later shares the hurt in his heart with Sora, something that breaks Sora and brings him to his knees. The weight of Roxas's short life and the tragedies he faced put Sora in a state of despair. I don't think we should forget that. Sora could barely keep it together, feeling Roxas's pain. Imagine how it must have been for Roxas living and feeling all of that in the moment. From the time Roxas was created until his return in Kingdom Hearts 3, he had been fighting for his identity and to be considered somebody. Similarly, when you lose someone close to you and essential to your being who you are, trying to discover who this new person might be is a difficult transformation to undergo. My mom had been sick for years before she passed away, and with the hospice stay and in-home hospice, I guess you could say I had time to prepare myself for the inevitable. I knew one day I would wake up and not have to worry about her medication, as I was in charge of tracking all that in the end. One day I would wake up and not have to talk to a different nurse than yesterday about what I wanted for my mom right now. One day I would wake up and refer to my mom in the past tense. One day I would wake up as a person with a dead parent. But when that day came, when I saw her that night, just past midnight, cold, silent, you're never prepared for that. Yeah, sure, one day she won't be there. But when it actually happens, no matter how prepared you think you may be, it is world-altering. Leon wrestles with establishing her identity in Days as well. She struggles between her two identities, one where she is best friends with Roxas and Axel, and she is happy, able to live her life how she wants, and the other is to become stronger while sapping the strength from Roxas and reconnecting with Sora's heart. She questions, after losing her ability to wield the Keyblade.
Is it that I'm not supposed to exist?
Well, what do you want to do, Shion?
I want to be with you two.
Then come back with us.
I can't. Not the way I am now.
She feels shame for being unable to do her job, to keep up with the expectations of everyone around her. Who is she if she can't wield the Keyblade anymore? She does eventually get this power back, though she must return to Sora's heart to save Roxas from herself. What makes Shion's death so heartbreaking, I think, is seeing the bond she had with Axel and Roxas fall apart as her end came close. They truly were best friends, the three of them, but because their destinies conflicted, they couldn't be, at least at this time. Moreover, we know that upon Shion's reconnection with Sora, all memories of her disappear. One wonders, what happens to the memories of a heart when that heart does disappear? Where do these memories go when someone dies? Are they etched into the hearts of others now?
How will I know where I belong? Truly. I'm not sure. I can promise you I'll come up with the right answer.
Who am I if I can't have ice cream with one of my best friends? Who am I now that I am a child with a dead parent or dead parents? For most of my life, I was wrapped up in my own things while my mom's health slowly got worse, and I look at the time I had with her for granted. Do you know how many times I've replayed the fight between my mom and I where I shoved her, or when I told her I didn't want to talk and went to bed when all she wanted was a relationship and a friendship with her daughter? I was so angry. Boy, was I angry. And I think that's why I resonated so much with Roxas's story of identity and how he dealt with Shion's death. Was I angry at myself? Was I angry at the healthcare establishment for misdiagnosing my mom for decades? Was I angry I never got the adult mother-daughter friendship you see on TV? Was I angry that people were treating me the same, like I didn't just lose my mom? Was I angry that they were treating me differently because I just lost my mom? Hell, I don't know. I was just pissed. I could beat up a computer. I'm angsty and feeling worthless, like no one would miss me, but I was on autopilot. I was living through the days, just going to work and coming home to a new life without my mom. Who was I? I don't know how to exist without my mom. Just as things started to click into place with me, with graduating with my undergrad degree and taking classes towards my master's degree while working as a teacher's aide, my dad suddenly died. Again with the anger. More so than anything. Obviously, I was sad my dad died, but I was more angry at the fact it happened so suddenly and at a time in my life where I was just starting to get happy again after losing my mom, his wife of nearly 30 years at that point. My dad's death, I think, made me question my identity more, particularly with teaching. It was always a passion for me and what I wanted to do since I was a kid, but everything about my childhood is gone now. My cats, dogs, both parents. We had to sell my childhood home, most of the things inside of it to cover lawyer costs and whatnot. It was heartbreaking. Everything I knew was taken away from me. Everything that shaped my identity at some point in my life has deserted me. I was pissed off. I didn't know who I was anymore, but I knew I didn't want to be this angry, bitter person anymore. So after teaching for a couple of years, I quit. My whole life, I thought I was destined to be a teacher. I idolized them for what they did and how they made me feel, but your destiny is not up to you. You can do things to try to change it, but in the end, you have to end up where you're meant to be. When I played Birth by Sleep for the first time, I witnessed how Aqua, Terra, Ventus reacted to the death of Master Ericus. Terra looks in disbelief at what he had done, saying he only wanted to protect his friend. Ventus is in shock and horror at what he has just witnessed. Aqua doesn't believe it either, lashing out in disbelief when Master Yen Sid describes the ordeal. When you think about it, Aqua and Terra seem to have grown up together in the land of departure, or at least spent many years there training to be Keyblade Masters. characters. This was their home, and Master Ericus would be a metaphor for a father figure in their lives. All of that is destroyed now. None of these characters got to say goodbye to their master. Despite all of this, they are thrown immediately into peril, needing to fight to save themselves and to prevent Xehanort from destroying the world and summoning Kingdom Hearts. They had absolutely no time to grieve over their lost master before being thrown into more trauma and more chaos. This sounded all too familiar for me. Each of them were lost in their own ways by the end of this game. Ventus is napping, Aqua is traversing the realm of darkness, and Terra is trapped in his own heart by Master Xehanort. Now that the initial ordeal was over with, it's time to pick up the pieces and try to recover. While we don't get much into what Terra and Ventus are thinking at this time, Aqua gets her own game dedicated to her trouble in the realm of darkness, where she sees her question her connections with the light, the choices she's made, and the outcomes of her friends. She reflects on these connections and memories as she discovers the outcome of Castle of Dreams.
Here, too, everyone in this world thought that they were safe. Not just the people, but the dog waiting for his owner. The cat curled up in her nook. So much life. Trees and flowers. There's no deeper sadness than discovering all that you knew is gone. The grief in this place is too much to fathom.
Being able to empathize with those that fell to darkness, she comments on the grief that the place and people feel before pushing herself forward.
That's enough. I can't keep on wishing for the past.
Granted, the realm of darkness is probably not the place to try to understand your grief, but I think it's important that forcing yourself to move forward could be more harmful than helpful. Without giving yourself time to process your grief, it will slowly consume you. If you keep wishing for the past, though, instead of creating something with what you have now, that same fate can happen. She essentially loses herself in the darkness by the end of it all. But there's one thing, or one person rather, that has the power to connect all the hearts that have been disconnected from each other. It is not until Kingdom Hearts 3 that we get that goodbye they deserve, and hopefully finally receive closure for the past 10 years or so of trauma and anxiety. It's a beautiful moment, really, and while in my real life I didn't get a moment like this with my dad, seeing characters I've grown to care for get the closure they needed and deserved to move forward gave me great satisfaction. The sum of Kingdom Hearts 3 really shaped my ideas that previous game influenced into what they are today. I witnessed Axel, Roxas, and Xion regain their identities and connections. I saw Terra break through his chains to save and reunite with Ventus and Aqua. I saw Riku Replica sacrifice himself for Naminé. I saw Sora crying real tears, losing everyone. I saw Sora crying again, losing Kairi to Xehanort, crystallizing her. I saw his hurt and his anger, and I understood it. I felt it too. I've been there, Sora. I get it. How earth-shattering it must be to lose those special to you. Feels. I would sacrifice myself to bring them back too, even if I only get to be with them for a short time. It's not been an easy road for me dealing with the loss of my parents. Their deaths were a catalyst of change in my life, and it would be difficult to talk about my journey of rediscovery without comparing it to that of Riku's road to dawn. Riku was so infatuated with the idea of seeing other worlds. There had to be more to life than these islands he's grown up on. He knows there is a power within him, given to him by Terra through bequeathing his Keyblade to Riku. But like I said, Riku was so focused on getting off the islands, he would do so at any cost, even if it means opening up his heart to the darkness. Riku was, honestly, kind of a prick throughout most KH1. He needs to play with his puppets, and he steals your girl, and he even steals your Keyblade. He fights Sora and belittles him, reminding him that he is not the true Keyblade Master. However, before the possessed Riku as Ansem SOD is able to hurt Kairi, Riku's light shines and he gains control of his heart long enough to allow your escape. We don't see Riku again until we are closing the door at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, to which Riku says,
Take care of her.
Many people have done deep dives and character analysis of Riku, so I will try to avoid repeating too much of what has been said already. Frankly, a lot has been said about our boy Riku, but if you want a great analysis of his character and his redemption arc, I suggest peeping BioRoxas's video, The Psychology of Riku. Honestly, his whole Psychology of series is really interesting, and I think you should give them all a listen. No, he didn't ask me to say this. I don't even think Bio knows who I am. Anyway, at this point, Riku has realized he's royally screwed up. He knows he's done wrong and has given into the darkness. We see more of his struggle with this darkness, which can be a metaphor for his depression. In Recom, after we get over his obsession with sniffing people, Riku's story in Castle Oblivion represents, at least to me, the decision to change and atone for what you have done in the past. Riku is constantly reminded that he gave into the darkness by Ansem, and Zexion even goes as far as making him basically relive that day and experience Sora's angry words regarding Riku's actions. Despite all this, with all his regrets, he moves forward, continuing his road to redemption. I feel this was important to highlight because part of the depression I experienced after my parents' deaths were due to my regrets. I hadn't talked to my dad in about a week before he died, and was honestly not a great daughter to my mom while she was alive. I didn't open a door to darkness and destroy my world, but their deaths managed to accomplish that on their own. Finding the strength to protect what matters has always been something Riku has strived to achieve. He realizes giving his heart to the darkness was not the right way to do that, but he never gave up on that idea. Even in what I would consider his darkest times, days through most of KH2, he still fought for that strength. But we see the physical effects of Riku's mental load as well, with his longer hair. Now, just because someone has longer hair doesn't mean they're depressed, but coupled with how he speaks of himself in Days and how he hides his identity from Sora in KH2, it is clear that Riku at this point is still struggling with his identity and coming to terms with the mistakes of his past. Throughout Days, Riku wears a blindfold to hide his darkness within him, which I connected with. After my twins were born, I had another shake-up to my identity and life that had a physical and emotional effect on me. Postpartum depression is so stigmatized, mothers know how to lie on the paperwork so no one takes their kids away. I won't get too into that side of things, but the immense pressure on moms to do everything right, paired with the instant gratification and the digital age, it is hard to feel like you can even do this. I definitely felt worthless. I let myself go, and I put on a mask to hide myself from those I loved. How can I let these babies see their mommy like this? How can I let my husband see me like this? But what I looked like didn't matter to him. They saw me for me, not for the depression and anxiety I was riddled with. They saw and believed in the true me. My husband and kids truly saved my life and made me realize that I am stronger than the darkness that could try to control me. This is something Sora helps Riku discover towards the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Here. You'll understand. Close your eyes.
Riku! It's Riku. Riku's here. I looked for you.
Come on, Sora. You've got to pull it together.
looked everywhere for you.
I didn't want you to find me.
But it was him that was helping us, wasn't it?
Huh?
Those clues we kept finding, that must have been Riku.
I was starting to worry you guys weren't ever gonna catch on. Sora never did pick the brightest friends.
What do you mean by that? Why didn't you let me know you were okay?
I told you, I didn't want to be found. Not like this. I couldn't. I fought with Ansem, with Xehanort's Heartless. When it invaded my heart and I won. But to use the power of darkness, I had to become Ansem myself.
Does that mean you can't change back?
This battle isn't over. And until it is, I still need the power of darkness.
Then, let's finish it. You're still Riku, no matter what. So how about it? Think we can handle one last rumble together? The king's waiting. Yeah, let's get going.
Depression and grief are cyclical in nature. They're not a straight line, and you're going to backslide just as much as you move forward. But realizing and accepting what you cannot change gives you the opportunity to grow and become stronger the next time you're feeling some type of way. Riku epitomizes this in Dream Drop Distance. He has many encounters with characters that question their identity and places in the world. He meets with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo, who wants to belong to his community, who teaches Riku the importance of acceptance. We all have our own issues and darkness we have to deal with, but it is possible to overcome if we focus on the light and connections we have. Later, he meets with Sam, Korra, and Kevin Flynn in the grid. A bunch of wild events occur, and Riku is on a bridge with Korra and Sam by the portal to escape the grid, and Kevin and Clue on the other side of the bridge. Kevin tells Sam to leave, but doesn't want to. Finally, accepting that this is what his father wants, Sam leaves the grid with Korra, and Riku is left standing alone to reflect on his experience in this world.
The portal is gone. These gates that connect worlds. Maybe when we pass through them, we're challenged and changed. And it's not over. There are more trials ahead we have to overcome. But we'll be ready, Sora.
He mentions he thinks he will be learning something after each world he visits, and that there will be many trials ahead of him. I think this is a direct reference to the Mark of Mastery exam itself, but also references Riku's never-ending struggle with his darkness. While he may have kept the darkness at bay for now, there will be greater trials ahead of him to test his resolve. On a side note, I just want to point out the foreshadowing here. Recall that at the end of KH3, when Sora wants to use the power of waking again to save Kairi, Mickey tries to convince him not to go. What does Riku do? He says Sora's made his mind up. We have to believe in him. I think this scene is a reflection of what Riku learned in the grid during his Mark of Mastery exam. Just a thought.
Exam Yen Sid gave us.
In the world that never was, Riku is faced with the embodiment of darkness, of his darkness, Ansem, seeker of darkness. Their conversation here shows just how strong Riku has become. He knows there is still darkness within him, and he sees that as a strength rather than a weakness, as our antagonist suggests. Ansem wants Riku to give into the darkness, let it consume him, as a backup for one of Xehanort's 13. Riku is smarter and stronger than this now, and knows his worth and what he is capable of, so he fights back and is victorious. I am still convinced DDD is a Riku game with Sora as a side character, though they both have their own character developments. Riku becomes resolute. He knows there is darkness in him that can become out of control if he doesn't take care of it. Those dark times are never forgotten. They are memories within our hearts, but connecting the chain of memories validates us and makes our hearts whole. Remember, our hearts are filled with both light and darkness. Despite the high note Riku ends DDD with, the darkness within him has never left and never will. He is strong in Kingdom Hearts 3, mature, resolute about what he has to do. Many have dubbed this moment here as Riku's sacrifice for Sora. There are a lot of theories and explanations surrounding this moment, but I wanted to focus on the self-sacrificial nature shown by Riku here. For context, Riku and Sora are all that's left of the Guardians. They are essentially defeated. There really is no hope at this point without cheating. Looking at you, Sora. Sora has always been the happy-go-lucky one, always finding the positives in situation. Now he is broken, crying, and sees no hope. Riku is not used to this from Sora. We can see his face. He doesn't really know how to react. He might even be a little uncomfortable. He wants to comfort him, tell him it's going to be okay, but he doesn't know that for sure. He doesn't want to lie. Their situation is dire. Instead of giving into the darkness at this moment and giving up, Riku clenches his fist and says,
Sora, you don't believe that. I know you don't.
and faces the darkness one last time in an attempt to protect what he cherishes and sacrifices himself for Sora. Now, I don't believe Riku thinks the world is better off without him. I don't believe Riku was suicidal or had ideation at this point, but he was so willing to sacrifice himself to show Sora that there is still hope. It makes me wonder how much Riku really values himself without his friends there to support him. I think it's important to point out that our darkness can manifest in different self-sacrificial ways. You bathe your kids every night but shower once a week yourself. Your kids eat well-balanced meals but you forgot to eat today. You want to take a vacation but you have bills to pay and people counting on you, so you can't stop. You can't think about what's right for you because you're too worried about protecting everyone else. Through it all, though, many players resonate with Riku's story for many reasons. For me, in dealing with my grief and huge life changes, identity crises and issues, and finding purpose again, Riku's journey displays the power of tenacity and a fervent passion for loved ones that pushed me to be better for my kids, my husband, and myself. So thank you for sticking around to the end here, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just a quick summary. Some of the things that Kingdom Hearts has taught me through that difficult period of time in my life. You have to be careful about living with the guilt you have over things you cannot change. When you lose someone close to you, that's essential to who you are, and trying to discover who you are after that loss, it can be a very difficult thing to try to undergo. And if you keep wishing for the past instead of creating something with what you have now, you will still be lost in the end. So it's important to realize and accept that you cannot change some things, and doing this gives you the opportunity to grow and become stronger the next time you're in a situation like this. So, Kingdom Hearts will always have a special place in my heart. The whimsy of mini games with Pooh Bear and Remy, the absurdity of Donald Duck and Goofy fighting alongside me, the dark themes that support the overarching theme of the power of friendship. Overall, the story is great, and the characters, for the most part, are built up through the series and are incredibly relatable. While my story does not align with all the characters, bits and pieces of each storyline stuck with me in a way that informs my decision-making process today. And I think that's what makes it such an amazing series to get into. You may not feel a connection with every character all of the time, but you can find something to relate to with almost everyone. Seeing as many people grew up with this series from childhood, I hope my perspective on this series gives you something to think about or inspire you to reflect on your own experiences and relationships, both with this series and in the real world. My journey into adulthood is probably much different than yours, just like our journeys with this series are probably different. That doesn't mean my experience is superior to yours or vice versa. The fact that we can play these games and all come away from it feeling something different and learning different lessons goes to prove just how influential this series really is. Whether you've played all the console and handheld games or just picked it up for the first time, you can find something to love in this series. And I guess if you're still here, thank you for sticking around to the very end. This video was a monster to create, from scripting to visuals to editing, but I think I needed to do this more for myself than anything else. I've dealt with a lot these past few years, and I hope sharing my story has helped you a little, or at least given you perspective on what someone in your life may be dealing with. I'll have links to resources in the description of this video if you or someone you know needs help. Life is hard, folks. It's a struggle. But you don't have to struggle alone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out to a friend or family member. And if you think someone may be struggling, reach out to them too. Be the light in the darkness.
Hey guys, thank you for sticking around to the end here. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some people. Obviously, my husband and kids for giving me quiet time to make this video and other things. My friend Josh for supporting me and encouraging me to make content. And then lastly, I want to thank Regular Pat and PJ from Cabletown, specifically from their podcast No Sad Face. I don't remember which episode it was, but they were talking at the end of one and was like basically telling me, and I guess others, don't be afraid to put your voice out there and put what you create out there. And I guess they need more content creators in the Kingdom Hearts sphere. So thanks to them for encouraging me to do this. And sorry if I sound awful. I have the flu and it's Christmas Day. What a lovely time. But I just wanted to say thank you to those people, as well as everyone that I borrowed video from, because I didn't have all of the video I needed on my own yet, because I am still pretty new at this. So I did make the credits. Hopefully nobody gets mad at me. But thanks again, guys. Hopefully you liked my video, and I will see you at the next one.